And tonight on the Daily Wrap, over 22 million people tuned into last night's debate. Were you one of them? Is that a rhetorical question? Plus, we have all the highlights, and a lot of facts and figures were tossed around last night as well. We'll sort it all out for you in a little game called Truth Detective. And Ann Coulter, some call her the Coultergeist, goes off and over the top in a tweet that you will not believe during the debate last night. Wait until you hear it. This is the Daily Wrap, and we're live from New York City. Show everybody with my co-host Rick Unger. I'm Joe Concha. Post-debate, next day, Fiorina, your next president. Ricky,
don't get carried away. She did a great job. Absolutely, she clearly was the winner of the night.
No,
I think most agree.
Hillary was the winner of the night.
Well, now that's I was just going to say, but the real winner of the night. If you watched Hillary's interview with Jimmy Fallon. I think she might have been the big winner last night, folks.
Wow. Well,
she did a great job.
We'll certainly debate
Saw a little love and comedy from Hillary.
Rick back on the Hillary bandwagon. That took 2 weeks.
Just calling them as I see them.
Okay. Well, he is candid. And to Mr. Candor's right. He's thinking about it, but he is. Jonathan Gilliam is here. I'm told it's Gilliam and not Gilliam.
Well, if you spell it Gilliam, nobody's going to be able to find me on Google, so I always say Gilliam.
Oh, that's smart. Okay, yeah, I get it.
I got my
I didn't get that at all.
in there.
Yeah.
If you say Gilliam, people miss that.
Okay.
To Mr. G's right.
Misses it with it.
He's the editor of the WisdomDaily.com. Brad Hirschfeld, or is it Field?
It is Field. There's an eye in there.
Okay, very good. That's why.
Between us, you got 2 eyes.
Very good.
Wisdom Daily, can you give some of that to Rick?
All right.
I'm trying, brother.
Daily
I'm trying.
download.
I need Wisdom Nightly.
And last night, CNN hit a personal ratings best when close to 23 million people, 22,600,000 to be exact, tuned in to see the second GOP debate. The 3-hour debate provided lots of highlights and insights of the candidates running for the Republican ticket. Donald Trump, of course, was the center of attention and was positioned next to Governor Jeb Bush, which provided plenty of fireworks.
Your wife is a lovely woman.
She is.
I
She's
don't
fantastic.
know her, and this
she
is a total
absolutely the love of my life, and
mischaracterization of what
she's
I
right
said.
here. And why don't you apologize for her?
No, I won't
right
do that
now.
because I said nothing wrong. Your
Do you know
brother
her, man?
and your brother's administration gave us Barack Obama because it was such a disaster those last 3 months that Abraham Lincoln couldn't have been elected.
You know what? As it relates to my brother, there's one thing I know for sure. He kept us safe. I don't know if you remember, Donald.
I don't know, you feel safe right now? I don't feel so safe.
It's very high energy, Donald.
It's just odd. That's the only way I could put it. They hated each other. They were happy. Donald had a full smile, which I've never seen. We're going to get more of that exchange, but first, let's get to his exchange with Carly Fiorina in what some are calling the big moment of the night. But first, Jonathan, what did you think of Mr. Trump's performance?
Well, you know, I think that he solidified last night that out of all the candidates, he has the most command presence. Now, whether or not he went into detail about, you know, what he's going to do one way or the other, I don't think anybody really did fully last night. I think he was able to tell literally anybody that tried to challenge him to stop talking. And in cases like Jeb Bush, he actually told Jeb when to talk. And I don't think anybody else had that command presence, and that's a big part of leadership.
Do you think people see that and they say, okay, this is how he's going to treat Putin. This is how he's going to treat the Iranians?
I don't. I think people,
I mean that as a compliment,
sure,
in a way. Like, at least he's assertive and he projects strength.
I think part of what he showed last night is he has the ability to think while he's doing that. And I think, you know, it'll be a good test to see how he treats, you know, people that work for him. I thought he treated the moderators very respectively last night. I don't think they were attacking him. He didn't attack them either.
Certainly the center of attention, no question about it. There were 73 questions last night, and 32 of them involved Donald Trump.
Yeah, but
that's
the real centers of attention were the people who were able to deflect the attention away from him. The one thing I'll actually give Trump credit for last night, he seemed to come with the mindset of not just being Trump, but of being one of the gang. And I actually liked that about him last night. He high-fived somebody, I think it was Jeb, and he did a few things like that where I went, that's pretty smart, actually. You know, you're still in first place, but you're being one of the gang. That was good.
He did attack Rand Paul's looks, though.
Well,
at the same
he
time,
did. I mean,
without being provoked.
He came out being Trump-like, but a lot of that faded over the night because I think he was ready for it. He was ready to have to play defense, and he did okay. But it wasn't his night, though. Not that he was hurt last night. I think we'll still see Donald Trump first in the polls when the new polls come out. But I think the night clearly belonged to Mrs. Fiorina, and we do have our poll, our Newsmax poll, which clearly shows Trump in the lead. It was an interesting night. Also interesting because we got to some substance finally.
Yeah. Well, when you have 3 hours, I hope there is.
Not from Mr. Trump, but we got from some substance.
The one thing about the substance, though, last night, which I thought was very interesting, and this is where you can start to see the entertainment value, is exactly what you're talking about. Substance, and then let's throw some Trump in there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Trump wasn't substance, but let's throw something in there that's going to get people a little jazzed up.
Like smelling salts, almost like, oh, that foreign policy conversation is going to be making you feel sleepy. Oh,
Trump.
Which is where the opposite of Fox was. Fox was all Trump the entire time and then a little bit of substance in there.
Interesting. I think Trump, see if you agree with me on this one, sensed about halfway, not even halfway through, very early on, that this was not his home court. That this was establishment, Reaganites, California rooting against him. And when he tried to land some zingers in the beginning, you could hear the crickets.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. This wasn't zinger night. In fact, what he did do well, if you word cloud the entire debate, the word that stands out the most, that was used the most over the course of those very long 3 hours, is the word people. What he tapped into is that kind of populism, and he did that well. But he tried to dial back the bullying, and I think that's the issue he's got to work on. Somewhere between too much command presence and full-on bullying, there's a line. He hasn't found it yet.
All right, well, let's move on to Carly Fiorina, who had a strong night. Some say she won the night. I say she won by a country mile. When asked about Planned Parenthood, this is what Carly had to say.
Anyone who has watched this videotape, I dare Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama to watch these tapes. Watch a fully formed fetus on the table, its heart beating, its legs kicking, while someone says we have to keep it alive to harvest its brain. This is about the character of our nation. And if we will not stand up and force President Obama to veto this bill, shame on us.
I had in my notes that being the best line of hour one, because that was authentic and that came from the heart. Now, I'm going to let you in because you're saying that there was...
It wasn't accurate. I mean, it was, she delivered it beautifully, and it did have an impact. The problem is there's no such video of that.
There is somebody giving testimony of that happening.
Not what she said.
Right. That video is
So
not exactly correct, but the impulse toward the callousness regarding life is there. It was captured in those videos, and people are responding to that, including people who are fundamentally pro-choice, because they're doing what Americans have said for a long time. Even if they're pro-choice, they're not anti-life, and those videos ring of kind of anti-life callousness.
Yeah, I think it's a semantical argument. I understand you don't see a video with a baby, but...
I give you, the way she delivered it, absolutely positively scored. It did. It'll score with the base. It got my attention. I think it got everybody's attention. But, you know, it's always better, and we're going to go into this a bit more later about where else Fiorina might have not stayed all that accurate with the truth, but still did a phenomenal job of delivering her lines.
Absolutely. Let's show the Newsmax poll, people in the control room, if possible. Because curious to see, even though I had Fiorina winning the debate, obviously Mr. Gillum says that Trump won, or at least that was the impression that he gave. What do you guys make of this poll, and who would you say won?
I think it's pretty, good on Trump and Fiorina. What is surprising me over and over again is Marco Rubio. I don't know if we're going to go into this later, but I have my own reasons for not really enjoying what he had to say. I think he said a lot of Wikipedia type stuff and party line stuff. I didn't hear any substance out of him, but people buy into that.
It's who lost, and who lost last night was Walker, who wasn't even on that list and had to break through last night. And I think Cruz, I'm going to put in the winner category.
Okay,
Really?
yeah, we're going to show some Marco Rubio next, but usually Trump wins these polls by bigger margins. But I'm still shocked that it wasn't closer on our poll, that it was a 26-point margin still for Trump.
Right.
I didn't see it that way. Anyway, what do you think, and who do you think won last night's debate? Go to newsmaxpoll.com and cast your vote. Coming up, we're going to sift through more debate highlights and separate fact from fiction. You don't want to miss it.